Thank you for joining my presentation on constructivism and social constructivism. Today we will cover the following topics. First, let's define constructivism. Constructivism is a way of learning through reflection. Social constructivism is a way where the learner can make meaning in experiences. Today, we're going to look at three different theories of constructivism and social constructivism by John Dewey, Vygotsky, and Jerome Berner. John Dewey said, "Give the pupil something to do, not something to learn." And John Dewey believed in progressive education. He emphasized the need to learn by doing, and students thrive when they learn with a hands-on approach. As a pragmatist, Dewey believed that students must interact with their environment to grow and learn. Moreover, education should be child-centered and focused on the needs and interests of the child. Curriculum should be interdisciplinary and connect multiple subjects where they can both apply and acquire knowledge. Dewey also believed that teachers are facilitators, not the instructors. This means that they should give the background information and then allow the students to work in groups in order to understand various concepts. Teachers should be observing the interests and directions that the students take and assist them in honing their problem-solving skills. Vygotsky said, "Through others we become ourselves." According to Desai, Vygotsky's sociocultural theory of development looked at the impact on social interactions and cognitive development of children. Vygotsky found that babies have four elementary functions: attention, sensation, perception, and memory. And the more sociocultural interaction that babies have with people, the more higher mental function they develop. But how does this happen? Higher mental function is a result of both independent learning and modeling or scaffolding. In other words, parents and other people around the babies model the behaviors which guides the behavior of the child. An example of this is object permanence. With object permanence, babies believe that when things disappear, they're gone forever. Peekaboo is a game that can be played with babies to develop higher mental function because as the adults come back, they're teaching the child that they're not gone forever, but only hiding behind a blanket. An example we can use with older children is helping them sound out words while they're reading. They already understand the sounds that the letters make, and by coaching them to put the letters together to form a word, they're enhancing their higher mental function. Vygotsky believed that there were three things that contributed to learning: more knowledgeable other, which is someone who has a better understanding or higher ability level than the learner; zone of proximal development, which is the area in which the person with a better understanding is assisting another person to achieve something they hadn't been able to do before, with the end result being a new skill learned; and language, which is our thoughts that are a direct result of our learning. Jerome Brunner said education must be not only a transmission of culture, but also a provider of alternative views of the world and a strengthener of the will to explore them. Jerome Brunner felt there were two main components to education. First, intellectual development, and the second is culture. Brunner felt that teaching opens up a wide range of possibilities because it gets us thinking in ways we've never known before. Moreover, Brunner felt that as a teacher, we shouldn't just teach things in the past, but teach for the future. We should be pushing our students to think beyond what we're teaching them and what they see in textbooks because that is where intelligence lies. Brunner felt that the goal of teaching should be intellectual development. Brunner felt that culture shapes the mind. In an interview with Bob Greenberg in 2014, Brunner said, "Culture is a way of knowing that relates to the constraints composed by a certain way of life. So we know who we are as a person, but we also learn how to be someone else so we can use our whole being. For example, I am not only myself, but I'm also a teacher, mother, student, etc. So what do these theories have to do with the adult learner? Hung noted that for social constructivists, learning should involve interaction with other people or environments, which foster potential development through instructors' guidance or in collaboration with more capable peers. Teachers of adult learners should be there for guidance and to encourage critical thinking skills, not be the sole provider of information. Students should be encouraged to ask questions and think past the intellectual boundaries that they keep themselves in. How do reciprocal teaching, cooperative learning, situated learning, and anchored instruction apply to my students? You're going to find out. According to Rosenstein and Meister, reciprocal teaching is an instructional approach that features guided practice in applying simple, concrete strategies to the task of text comprehension. The basis of reciprocal teaching is when students are reading, and they are asked to generate questions about the reading. They summarize what they read, clarify anything that confused them, and predict what might happen next. This would be used during reading groups for the students that I work with as they are younger, and this would be a great way for them to have a better understanding of what they're reading. Serrano and Pons noted that cooperative learning is a series of systematic teaching strategies where the class is divided into small groups that have similar viewpoints, which stimulate a cooperative environment. This stimulates learning and achieves the goals that are set for the activity. When students are placed in groups that have different value systems, it tends to create conflict, which takes away from the activity and ultimately gets in the way of learning. The basis of cooperative learning is positive interdependence group processing, individual accountability, conflict management, and promotive interaction. Cooperative learning would be used for any type of group project within my classroom, regardless of the subject. Anderson, Rutter, and Simon said, situated learning is the idea that much of what is learned is specific to the situation in which it's learned. The basis of situated learning is that students learn a specific thing based on the environment that they're in. Situated learning would be used anytime my class goes on a field trip. For example, if we go to the zoo, we're there to learn about animals. When we go to the aquarium, we learn about sea life, or we go on a hike to learn about the desert. According to Love, anchored instruction gives teachers and students the opportunity to learn together by problem solving through shared experiences. The basis of anchored instruction is to learn by doing. I would use this in math to help with story problems. This way, it makes them seem not so scary to the students. Since my students are typically younger, they have a hard time finding the information that they need and how to interpret the information in story problems. To set them up, I would tell my students a fun story and explain what I want them to do. From there, I would give them some problems that they need to solve based on the information that I have given them. Today, we've covered a great deal of information. We learned what constructivism and social constructivism is. We learned the three theories of constructivism and social constructivism. We learned how these theories apply to the adult learner, and we learned how reciprocal teaching, cooperative learning, situated learning, and anchored learning is used in my classroom. Thank you again for joining me for this presentation. Have a great day.